Well, today we're going to do a pros and cons video of these Hobie Pro Angler 12s. Awesome fishing machines. I'll go over a lot of the good points and a lot of the downsides of them also. Everything is usually positive with them. The main downside is the cost. As always, Hobie products are very expensive. One major advantage of the Hobie is the fishability. You keep your hands clear all the time and you fish like crazy. Every once in a while, just reach down and give your rudder a little adjustment. I'm coming up on a real shallow shell bank. If my fins start bumping, I can just short stroke like this till I get back out into deeper water. So like right there, they're bumping bottom. I can just short stroke them. Another advantage to the Hobie is the distance you can cover. I usually go 5 miles a trip. I've been as high as 12 miles. And man, you can cover some distance with these things. You can with a paddle kayak too, but your leg muscle is about 4 times as big as your arm muscle, and it's nowhere near the fatiguing amount, especially in high wind. Talk about this seat a little bit. So it's got lumbar support. You can raise the bottom up and down, and you can raise the back forward and backward. Infinitely adjustable. I've spent as much as 9.5, 10 hours in it in one fishing session with no problem, no fatigue. That's the key to enjoying kayak fishing, is being comfortable in your seat. With the skeg and rudder down, they track exceptionally straight. If you want to make sharp turns, you just pull your skeg up and just use the rudder. And the rudder and the skeg are spring loaded, so when you hit something, they just pop up and pop right back down. So when you get up in the shallow marsh to where your drive's hitting the bottom, you just put one pedal forward. It puts the fins right up against the boat. And then even though it's designed to use the Mirage drive, the kayak paddles extremely well. Especially if you hook the paddle together and traditionally kayak paddle. Then when you get back out in deep water, just stroke away a little bit. Nothing like it. This is a fishing machine here, buddy. You get up in this marsh, unbelievable. This is a big advantage of a Hobie, fishing a shoreline on a windy day. So I can kind of fish heading into the wind here. I can keep control of the boat. If I hook up with a fish, I can steer right off. With a paddle kayak, once you hook the fish, you would be in trouble. So I'm able to fish this shoreline, stay off the rocks, and if I get a hook up, fight the fish without having to drop an anchor or stop the paddle or whatever it might be. Heading toward that damn picket there. That's it, go that way. There we go. There we go. We ain't playing with this one. So let's talk about the Hobie Mirage drive for a minute. So as far as the durability, after 150 trips, I have absolutely zero issues or problems with mine. The only problems I ever have is running into stuff and bending the masts. And you're able to unscrew them, bend them back, and get right back on track. Now Hobie fixed this problem with the 2019 model where they have kick-up fins, and they sell a retro kit for $450 that I'm not going to spend that kind of money. And another downside to Hobie is these fins are about $40 each, and the masts are like $35–40 each. So everything as far as parts is expensive for them. And of course, they got the new 360 drive system out. So if you're just loaded with money, you can spend all you want on different options with Hobies. That's one of the main cons with the Hobie systems, is they're so expensive. They do make cheaper models, the Outback, the Compass, They are a little cheaper, a little more affordable models. I definitely would recommend at least getting a 180 drive. The kick-up fins would be a nice to have option on the newer models, but I'm not going to spend the money to upgrade. And as you can see, my son has the same 2017. He's got the V1 fins and mine has the V2. So they did a little upgrade from these screw-on type to these pin-on type. And then now they got a totally different pedal system where the adjusters are up here on the top instead of on the side, and they have the quick release kick up fins that don't bend or break like these possibly can. And speaking of size, I'm 62 years old, 6 foot, 290, 150 trips. I've managed to stay upright so far, knock on wood. Don't want to roll it, but they're as stable as can be. Keep your center of mass over the center of the boat, no problem. Oh, 10 to 12 mile an hour south wind blowing straight up Bay Leno, no problem. You just point right into it and pedal on home. My one foot strap dry rotted. I gotta go to Hobie and get another one. A lot of people just take them off. I like them. That's one of the cons of the boat. Whatever they made the foot strap out of and the handles for the rudder, that rubber just peels away to nothing after a year or two. The rubber on these rudder controls melted and came apart to nothing. I don't know if it's from sunscreen and bug sprays on my hands or not, but that and the little foot straps for the pedal drive came apart to nothing. All right, for safety, I like the papaya color kayak. And I use a Yak Attack kayaking flag with a light on it, so I'm visible at night. So one of the beauties about this kayak is for these roadside launches or anywhere you can back a truck up to the water, you can launch it. Lakes, ponds, canals, it doesn't matter. One of the downsides is this thing is heavy. So I found the easiest way to load it is to pull it a little bit up, get it resting on the tailgate, and then shove her in because she weighs 100 pounds. That's about the easiest way to load it. And to secure it in the truck, I tie a secondary safety line on this side. And I take a 2-inch ratchet strap, come under the rail through the Mirage drive hole, back over to this side. Pull my slack out. So I found this is the most secure way I can haul it. I've tried ratchets and ropes and all from the end, but this does a number on it. 2-inch ratchet strap ain't gonna break. And then for roadside safety, or I guess you'd call it towing safety, I always put a red flag on the end of the kayak. So a lot of people like to trailer their Hobie. I like to just slide it in the back of the truck, and just makes it so much easier than dealing with a trailer and all that stuff. So load and unload's a little bit of a chore, but usually there's several of us fishing at the same time, and we all help each other load and unload. So whether you trailer it or truck it, it's nice. Now I went on a 1,000-mile road trip down the Florida Keys, and I did trailer it for that because I had two. So this does more damage to your hull than dragging them across the reef. It's when you get right beside these barnacle-filled poles. A lot of them are broke off underwater and they drag underneath the boat. That's my biggest problem with abrasion, is hitting these poles, marking oyster reefs. So this right here is the deep kind of gouges you get from those oyster pickets when you hit them beside the boat. So hull durability, my only complaint with this 2017 hull is the papaya color fades quick. 2018 they went to the papaya mango with more orange in it, and it doesn't seem to fade as fast. So we'll talk about wear and tear after 150 trips. So all these scratches, most of these are fine hairline. These big deep gouge like ones are from hitting them oyster pickets right there. So all in all, the hull holds up really well. The bow takes a little bit of a knocking, but for 150 trips in a kayak, which is probably more than the lifetime of the average person, this hull's in great shape. Hull durability, I'll give it A plus. Only thing they could do is if they had a little insert right here for abrasion on the very bow. For storage, the boat has plenty of storage, dry storage in the front, and up underneath this little slip out liner I keep a pump, an extra fin, and an extra rod, and then the little clevis pin and all for emergency use if I bend up one real bad out in the field. I use the hatch liner for in here for storage, and I keep all my keys and cell phone and all in there watertight out of the way. So this is my fishing setup right here like this. I keep a little PVC recovery device. If I ever roll or flip the kayak, it'll drop out, and I can use that to flip it back over and get back in. Keep it tied to the handrail, and I'll drop it right down there. I keep a pair of tethered pliers. I keep a Ram 2007 rod holder on this side for trolling. Keep my net here. Got a 48 quart ice chest with 5 rod holders with clips on it, and I use these little S hooks to anchor it into the Hobie tracks. Whenever I'm fishing, I keep one paddle right here for launching and recovering. I keep a Hobie rod holder on this side static just to set rods in and all. And then I keep an anchor and a line and all, and a piece of PVC that I can rinse off if I don't use it. And then I'll use an anchor trolley that I'll deploy from this side of the boat. So that's basically my fishing setup right there. And for storage, I just keep 2 Pro Anglers on a PVC rack made out of 1.5 inch PVC and 3-inch runners for the kayaks to set on. Works great. Nice and light and movable. One thing you can do in a pedal kayak that's real hard with a paddle one is troll. So I can set right up here. I got a rod holder. I stick the rod in, and I can just troll a swim bait. There's one now, knocking on the door. He's getting bigger. Come on, you're getting bigger. Yeah, you're getting bigger. It's real hard to do with a paddle kayak because you got your hands tied up trying to steer, and the pole would be right in your way. So for a quick wrap up on a Hobie Pro Angler review, I love this boat. I bought myself a big Tim's flat. If I'd have bought the Hobie first, I probably wouldn't have bought this boat. The kayak is so easy to use and so convenient and so peaceful that I think I really enjoy fishing out of it more than I do a power boat. So till the next video, get out there and go fishing.